Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Seriously, so thankful for you. I also just want to quickly say that I will be putting a Feeding South Florida link. It's a little virtual food bank, food drive type of deal where you can make donations if you are able to help, if you have anything extra. And if you're not, that's totally okay as well. Don't feel pressure because I know that a lot of people actually need the help. So if you can't monetarily donate, I would really appreciate if you could share the link in any way or engage in any way by liking or commenting or anything like that to, possibly get people who are able to donate to donate. I made the goal $1,000 because I don't know. I just thought that was a good place to start and hopefully we can reach that goal. This is obviously because the SNAP benefits have been paused and I'm not sure when or if they will be coming back. I don't think anyone really knows right now what the deal is going to be. And I can understand how stressful and upsetting that is because I am someone that grew up on food stamps and I can't even imagine being in that position, especially as a parent who is trying to feed their kids, because I'm sure a lot of parents are skipping meals just to feed their kids. And I think that it's absolutely insane that this is what's going on as a country. And I just want to help as much as possible. I also made a donation and will hopefully be making more donations throughout the month and throughout the next few months. And I just want to say that I know some of you who are listening are probably dealing with things that are happening in the country right now and not able to feed yourselves or feed your family, or you're just struggling. And I just want to let you know that I love you and I hopefully can try to help. And I think if everyone just tries to help a little bit, that's really the most we can do right now. And I think that it's so important as a community to just come together and try to help people who need it. But yeah, I'll put that link in the description or I'll tag it in the comments or pin it in the comments. And obviously anything is appreciated, even if you could give $1, like anything, a share, a like, a comment. So the theme, I don't know if I said the theme of this episode, but it's relationship drama. And we're going to get into the first story. My boyfriend told me I was prettier before. So I met my boyfriend when I was blonde. No, I'm not naturally blonde, but I bleached it and had it for over a year. I had to cut what once was long brunette hair because it became too damaged after I started bleaching it. My blonde hair was too much to handle as I started experiencing hair loss, and I had to go back to my natural color in order to let it heal. That's when I decided to never dye my hair again. However, I was met with some comments such as, bleach it again, it looked better before, and I've never felt worse about myself. The one that really got to me was, quote, "Can I tell you something honestly? You looked better before. Everyone liked you more when you were blonde. Get over it and bleach it again," unquote. The person who said that was my boyfriend. I was stunned and I didn't know what to say or do. I was really insecure about my looks just a few years ago, and this had me thinking, does hair color really determine how pretty I am? What should I do? I don't want to be with someone who makes me feel like I have to do something in order to please him or others. I don't want to be with someone who makes me feel insecure. Dude, okay. Well, first of all, I am someone that was dyeing her hair blonde from literally like 5th grade. I hate to say it. I had blonde hair. I was one of those girls or whatever, that had like very bright bleach blonde hair as a child, which a lot of children have very bleach blonde hair, okay, as children. And then obviously over time it gets darker and darker. And like, this is my hair color now. This is my natural hair color. It's like a light brown, whatever. So I bleached my hair from like 5th grade until I think the first time I ever dyed it was literally when I was like 22 years old. I I left a lot of blonde highlights. My hairstylist was like, I'm going to try to give you like a easy transition. I'm going to put brown in it, but I'm going to leave a lot of the blonde because I don't want to like scare you. So she put a lot of brown in, but left a lot of highlights so that I had a good transition. And I really liked it. And obviously, like, there are people that have told me I look better, which is crazy. Like, please don't tell people they look better with a certain type of hair color, especially if that hair color, I mean, unless it's their natural hair color. Like, stop telling people, you look better with this hair. That's not your hair color. If it's not my natural hair color, don't tell me I look better. Like, you can say I look great. If I dye my hair and I dye my hair a certain color, you could be like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. But if I dye my hair from a not natural color back to my natural color, why are you telling me I looked better with the hair that wasn't my natural hair color? Like, that makes me feel like shit. And I don't feel like spending $7,000 a year on bleaching my hair and also making it dead, because it would literally be so unhealthy and dead. And I got to a point where I was like dyeing my hair white because I had like blonde blindness and I never felt blonde enough. So I literally had white hair for the longest time, and it did not suit me. Like, I do think highlights, I could do some highlights and I think that would look good, but this was crazy. Like, it was to a crazy extent. I mean, this whole thing was going at a time where I was very at the height of my eating disorder. So I had very much dysmorphia. And I thought, I was so skinny, and I didn't think I was. I thought I was so fat. And I had blonde blindness, and I had everything blindness. I thought that I was so ugly, and I wasn't. And it's crazy. So having like a boyfriend say that would be so hurtful. I can't even imagine. Like, literally, ew. Goodbye. I can't. All 3 cats are in here right now, by the way. I thought maybe Frank had to go potty or something because he was meowing at the door, but oh, look at you, puppy girl. Okay, update. He said he was just joking. Still seems like a red flag to me. Edit, I just want to clarify. I see nothing wrong with preferences. Obviously, everyone has preferences and it's a normal thing. What bothers me is the way he said it, even though it could have been prevented with a simple, I think it looked better blonde, but you're pretty nonetheless. But instead, what I got was, and I quote, straight from his message, can I tell you something honestly? As a response to an old picture of me where I had blonde hair. You looked better before. Everyone I know liked you more when you were blonde. Get over it. Bleach it and go back to blonde, please. This. I don't think it's an opinion or a preference. It would have been if he said it nicely, and I would have no issues with it. Okay, regardless, I get having a preference, but keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, because telling someone they look better this way or that way when they do something different to themselves, like, or they make a change to themselves, I think it's just like, no one needs to hear your opinion. If you like blondes better, you like brunettes better, okay, whatever, that's your prerogative. And you want to break up with her because she's no longer a blonde, okay, go ahead. I'm sure you're going to go really far in life. But to make someone feel shitty about themselves, unless she asks you, like, hey, I really want to know your honest opinion. Do you think blonde or brown looks better on me? And then obviously answer honestly. If he said, I actually think the blonde looks better, but you're beautiful no matter what. But obviously, if someone asks you to tell them your honest opinion, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I just think it's crazy, especially because I've been someone that has gone through this, of like, people genuinely don't realize sometimes though, which honestly I think this guy does realize, but I've gotten comments before where it's like, oh my God, you don't look anything like that. And even if they think, like, if they saw an old picture of me and I had blonde hair and they'd be like, that doesn't look anything like you, I don't even know if they meant that as a good thing or a bad thing, but I automatically, and maybe this is my fault because I'm the one who's like projecting my own insecurities, but I would be so like distraught. I'd be like, what do you mean that doesn't look anything like me? Like, it's a good picture of me and this person's like, that looks nothing like you. I would immediately feel so offended and I'd be like, oh my God, I literally hate myself. And someone actually said that the other day, like, that looks nothing like you. And I don't know if it was because the picture of me was bad and I looked good in person because we were in person, and they saw a picture of me and they were like, that's not you. That does not look like you. It was literally like me last week. And maybe, but the thing is that I had no makeup on, and in person I had makeup on. So immediately I clocked that as like, oh, they're saying that doesn't look like me because I don't have makeup on in that. And I have makeup on right now, and they think that I'm ugly. You know, that's maybe something I need to personally work through. Okay. Maybe I personally need to work through that. Okay. I probably do. Yeah. Sometimes I'm insecure. Okay. Whatever. Edit 2. I dyed my hair brown a month before we started dating. It's not like I dyed my hair during our relationship. We were friends for over a year before that. I don't think it really matters if you dyed your hair in the middle of your relationship either. Like, that's crazy to be like, you have to stay one hair color for all of eternity because you're dating this person. No. No. Relevant comments. He said that he was just joking. He wasn't joking. He can have preferences about your hair color. He can tell you his preference, but this, the comment that he made about get over it and bleach it again, I get that you have some really low self-esteem and that causes you to think you can't do better than him, but you can, I promise. And then someone said, just joking is the coward's excuse. He pushed until he saw you were offended and then took a tiny step back. Don't have sex with this guy. He makes you feel insecure and insults your appearance. Ditch. T. Clock it. Okay. Next day update. So before I proceed, I want to talk more about my reasoning behind my actions and why I decided to do it. For a while now, I felt like I had to be the best version of myself in front of my boyfriend. I kept telling it was for myself and that I was the one who wanted to look nice. My skin is breaking out. Better cover that up so he doesn't see. Even though I've always avoided wearing makeup during breakouts and never really cared if other people saw it. His comment about my hair bothered me because he disregarded my health and well-being just because he likes it. Again, obviously there's nothing wrong with preferences. I also have preferences, and it's completely normal. He has voiced his preferences for blondes before and how he liked my blonde hair, but he never went as far to be this aggressive about it, especially since he knew how much it damaged both me and my hair. That's the thing. I don't want to be with someone who makes me feel insecure. I don't want to sacrifice my health for someone else's preferences, when I myself prefer brunette hair. Also, his joke made me think if I had agreed and said, yes, I will bleach my hair again, would he just say he was just joking? No, he wouldn't. I'm not going to go into too many details. I talked to him about it and explained why it bothered me. Talked about my experience with blonde hair and how I was experiencing hair loss. He got defensive and started saying how he was only joking and how I'm making a big deal out of it because, and I quote, you want attention. Yeah, I'd rather be a brunette than bald. And I'd rather have healthy hair than a boyfriend. Overall, I want a healthy relationship where I don't feel like I need to live up to someone else's expectations in order to please their preferences and have them stay with me. And sadly, this wasn't that relationship. I broke it off after arguing with him and got called an insecure bitch who only wants compliments and cares only about how she looks. Wait, I totally didn't even talk about the point that she was experiencing hair loss, so she had to go back to her natural color. Like, I completely disregarded that point, which is a huge point as to why this guy was a dick. But even regardless of that, I was just going on about the changing your hair in general as a person that wants to change their hair. But the fact that it was a health thing and she was experiencing hair loss just makes it so much worse. It makes it so much worse, and I hate this guy. And thank God she knows that she's better than that and she doesn't need to take his crap. Someone said, a level of awareness I am not accustomed to in posts on here, and it kind of shook me. I hope OP finds a guy who isn't as controlling as this asshole when she's ready. She's got a great brunette head on her shoulders. It's so... And nothing against blondes or people that blonde their hair, dye their hair blonde or anything. But honestly, I got so much more attention when I was blonde, which sometimes like I get a little, I'm not even going to lie. Sometimes I do get a little insecure about my hair color. And I'm like, oh my God, do I just look like Jane Doe? Like, do I just look like a basic lady that just is so average and I need to do something different with my hair because I'm like ugly because I just have, and this is just a me thing. I'm not saying that other people with my hair color should feel this way. This is just a personal thing that sometimes I feel a little bit insecure about. And it's so stupid. Like sometimes I feel like I need to do something extravagant, or like different and very unique. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I've always been the type, like I've always been the person that wanted to be like unique and look unique and blah, 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 blah. And when I was younger, I would try so hard to be like different than everybody else. And then I would get annoyed if someone was like doing something similar to me. Maybe that's like a normal thing. I don't know. Or if that was just a me thing and I have something wrong with me and like a unique person complex. But sometimes I like unique things, but it doesn't need to, like, you don't need to go out of your way to make yourself a certain way. I don't know, guys. But I've tried a lot of different hair colors because after I was stuck in blonde girl jail, like prison, because sometimes when you're blonde, you feel like this is the prettiest version of me and I'm never going to feel prettier or be prettier. So I'm never going to change my hair because I'll look ugly with any other hair color. Once I got out of that jail and finally pulled trig and actually dyed my hair back to my natural color, I then started experimenting with so many different colors. I went like super dark, I went black, I went light brown, I went a little like blue black. Oh, not this man. Okay, what are you doing? Ow, ow. Hello? He is not okay. No, he actually just went crazy. Like, why did he think that he could come up here with all that big bag of his? He got a big bag. He's like 16 pounds. And don't come at me. I'm trying to make him lose weight. I have so many toys that he's exercised with. I have so many exercising toys to make him like exercise more. And I've been feeding him less, like the recommended amount for a diet for him to lose weight. Okay, so don't even come at me because I want him to live long, but he's just a big back. He loves to eat. Okay, we're going to move on to the next story. And the title is, I think my husband had an emotional affair and I'll never know the truth. A woman, Beth, 30 female, moved into our estate a few weeks ago. A single mother with split custody with her ex. My husband, Carl, 32 male, is the chairperson of our HOA. A week or two after moving in, she calls my husband to ask his assistance in mounting her TV on the wall. He goes and helps. A few days later, her dishwasher was leaking. He goes and helps. This wasn't a problem for me as he always helps everyone in the estate with little problems. As the weeks go on, she constantly needs help with things. Always calling him for help. He goes. I now started to get annoyed as we haven't been in the best state because I've just had a baby. He's 4 months old, and we've had fights where I felt that he wasn't helping me enough. I gave natural birth and am still bleeding now, and my pelvis is still readjusting. Carl goes over to help Beth. Again, even our neighbors who are very close with commented that that's odd and offers that we do a lunch or something to welcome her and be friends as she just moved here and doesn't really know anyone. Mind you, he hasn't done this for other people. Lunch happens and she calls me by the wrong name. I correct her and she's very giggly about it. She seems okay, a bit too over the top in terms of trying to be dominant in a conversation, but I think she's okay. She comes over again, more time for a barbecue a week or two later, and our close neighbors join. They think she's okay too. And then that week while I'm at work, she comes over to say hi to my husband. He works from home. She's a teacher and schools are currently closed. She shows up wearing workout clothes. I got a text from my neighbor that also works from home saying Beth is there. I leave it as my husband is very social and we have cameras in the house. The next day, same thing. I mentioned that I'm glad she's made a friend. My husband agrees and that she's a cool chick. This happens about 4 more times. I then have to travel for work, 4 days away, and then she came over almost every single day in workout clothes. One night I watched the cameras and they were sitting by the table eating together and I just lost it. My husband is an avid gamer, so he plays games every night, eating dinner by his PC. I always beg him to sit by me and eat with me. He does it maybe once or twice a week. I called my husband after Beth had left and told him that these visits while I'm not home are making me very uncomfortable. She's been over 3 times while I was home, but constantly there when it's just him. He apologized and said he will set boundaries. Great. The discussion was on Thursday night. Friday morning, Beth rocks up again. I keep my cool because Carl said that he'll talk to her. I get home the Friday night and we have the discussion again. We are both calm. Monday morning, our baby gets sick. Carl takes him to the doctor and tells me that I need to be at home Tuesday and Wednesday because baby can't go to baby school because he's sick. Okay, cool. I come home early on Monday and look after baby. Monday afternoon, Beth and her ex have a chat about an offer my husband had made to the ex about him coming over and also being friends. Ex lives in our estate too. Do you think Beth texts my husband about this chat that happened on Monday? Nope. I'm home Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday morning when I go to the office, Beth rocks up to chat about it. I lost it completely because now it's been a week since I told Carl about my discomfort. We had a very serious discussion that night where I said that if I see her here again when I'm not here, I know he has no regards for my feelings. He was adamant about staying friends and asked for a compromise. I said that the compromise is that she does not come here when I'm not here. The next morning, he went to go talk to her about it, and apparently she was extremely apologetic, really wanting to be friends with me too. But she almost never came over when I was at home. She hasn't been here since then, 2 weeks now, and I have not had a text or whatever from her. He refused to show me the text with her, and I told him that it will always bug me if he doesn't show me. He said, so be it. I honestly think he was having an emotional affair, but I'll never know. My close neighbor told me about a conversation she had with him while I was at work a few weeks ago. Quote, he told me you were jealous, and I said, well, can you blame her? Then I said that he drops everything for this woman, but doesn't do the same for you. And he said, that's what OP said. Then he went silent and changed the subject. I just needed to vent. I don't like this guy, and I don't like this girl. I don't like either of them at all. And I also don't believe that the husband genuinely said something to this girl because I don't think that she would. I mean, I think that there are people out there that would do this. So maybe I'm just being naive, but like, would she immediately come over the next day knowing that like he asked her not to? I feel like he just didn't ask her. And I'm not going to blame this all on the woman that is in this situation because I think that this man has way more of a responsibility. Like, of course, do I think it's shitty to be the other woman or to like be hanging out with a married man and like doing this weird shit? Yeah, I definitely think it's weird. But also, this man is a husband and a father and talking to his wife that is telling him that she feels uncomfortable and that she needs more help with her baby that she literally just gave birth to. And he's so annoying and he's pissing me off and he's not going to show her the text messages. That's crazy. That's crazy. I hate that. So be it. Okay. Get this Tom, Dick, or Harry out of here. Okay, relevant comments. That's really painful. You're right to feel hurt. Even if not physical, the secrecy and attention he gave her crossed a boundary. Absolutely. And he literally was doing things with her that he wouldn't do with you. Even like you asking him to have dinner, that's such a simple task that he could do that he knows that would make you happy. And that's the crazy thing when people in relationships, like they know specific things you ask them to do and it's just like the smallest little gesture. It's like you can't do that for your partner just to make them like feel better, feel more secure, feel happier, and you know that that's like the tiniest bit of effort that you could put in that would really change things and you don't do it. Like that's just so annoying to me. OP said, he honestly made me feel like I was acting crazy because he only spoke to her after I went to Lulu, but thank you. And then someone said, he crossed many boundaries and this is something that you need to go to couples counseling about. You have every right to be concerned and upset. I would tell him outright that he had an emotional affair. Not only did you see it, but the neighbor saw it. And his lack of being forthcoming and letting you see the text messages is indicative of that and may show there is more than an emotional affair. I would go see an attorney to get your affairs in order in effort to protect yourself and your child. Additionally, I would start sleeping separate for now, too. Damn. They said, let me give you all this advice. Your neighbor is a hero, calling him out for doing things for her and not you. Hopefully, with someone else saying it, it actually registers in his truck head. Even if it's not emotional cheating, he has no regard for your feelings or helping you out, but happy to spend time helping other women. Totally inappropriate. How could it not be? How could it not be an emotional affair, genuinely? Because if it wasn't an emotional affair or nothing else sketchy was going on, he would have showed her messages. Like, why hide the messages and then be so blunt about not showing her the messages? Like, that's crazy to me that she even said, like, didn't force him to show her and be like, no, absolutely, show me them right now. Oh, see, I've never like asked my current boyfriend, I've never gone through his phone, and I will stand by that. I've never gone through his phone, and I never have really felt the need to even go through his phone. But don't get it twisted, I've gone through many men's phone before. And you know what? Every time I found something bad. So maybe that's why I don't do it, because I have PTSD. But I genuinely don't do it because I don't think I would ever find something in my boyfriend's phone. But anyways, if I was like to my boyfriend, I'm uncomfortable with this, and then like he kept doing it, and then I was like, hey, I need to see this phone of yours to see what your text messages are looking like. And he said no. I don't know. Like, I genuinely think you would see another side of me come out. Like Tracy from deep down under in the swamp. That girl would come out and be so insane, because I cannot with that. That pisses me off to no extent. To no. That pisses me off to no end. Yep, that's the word I was looking for. Okay, update 1, a bit over 5 weeks later. I managed to see the messages between them. Thank God. Nothing of a sexual nature at all, not even flirty. There was a day where he texted her at 7:30, but only texted me at 9:45 after I had sent him a text at 6:50. But that's as bad as it gets. He does not know that I've seen the text, so I've kept it quiet. We had a massive fight a few days after I made the original post, and I told him that I'm considering separation. I think that made him realize how serious all of this is. It's pretty much a blur, but I've started going to therapy to deal with past traumas, and I'm on antidepressants. Carl joined me in my last session, and I think he realizes what Beth's intentions were. As my male psychologist said, that was very unusual behavior from her, that she is a threat and has intentions. Carl and I are doing great now, but the reason why I'm posting this update is to show what Beth said to me after I decided to send her a message to bury the hatchet and move on. These are the texts. I said, "Dear Beth, I wanted to share what's been on my mind. I was genuinely glad when we first met. It felt like I'd found someone new with a similar personality, and I thought there was a potential for a real friendship. But as time passed, I felt hurt and disrespected by some of your choices. As someone who has also experienced betrayal, I would have hoped you'd understand how it came across when you frequently visited my husband while I wasn't home, yet never came when I was there. You had opportunities to build a friendship with me too. I've just had a baby, and during such a vulnerable time, it was especially difficult seeing how often you reached out to Carl for help. Certain things, like your son calling him Dada, crossed the lines that made me deeply uncomfortable. I tried to brush off a lot, but when you avoided coming by during the days that I was home, only to return the moment that I was back at work, it became impossible to ignore. I've spoken to Carl about his role in this, but as a woman, I also expected you to recognize when enough was enough. In my position, I believe you would have felt the same way. I've acknowledged everything now, and I'm moving forward. Whether it was you seeking attention or Carl enjoying it, I was willing to let things go until both of your actions crossed into what I can only call unacceptable." Beth then sent a long voice note detailing how it wasn't her intention to hurt me, how she just naturally gravitates towards men, blah, blah, and how me being an introvert, she just didn't want to be in my space, blah, blah, blah. Then sent, quote, "I really like you guys and I hope that we can still be friends, but in saying that, I will respect the boundaries and your wishes." Me. And then OP said, "I appreciate your message." Then Beth said, "So is that a yes? We can be friends?" Then OP said, if I'm honest, I still hold a lot of resentment, mainly because what he was freely giving you, attention and effort, I was begging for and not receiving. He tried his best to reach a compromise with me, telling me that you were over one day to ask advice because you met someone at a bar and wanted his opinion if the guy is interested or not. So I received a lot of mixed stories because I remember you saying that you're happy being single and not looking. I'm working through my emotions as I have a lot of unresolved trauma, and Carl's constant defending you left a very bad taste in my mouth. I don't know if it would be possible while we're still working on things, as this has caused a very big rift between us. I realized my mistake here when I gave her a good feeling because my husband defended her. The next part, she sent a bunch of texts. She said, Carl defended me because he wanted you to realize him and I are good friends. I don't want to be that person, but I do think you need to take a step back and also put yourself in our shoes. You have a good husband who loves you and your son and wants to build a beautiful life with you guys, but you can't allow insecurities or misunderstandings to interfere with that. Work on things, that's fine, but don't push someone away that is wanting to be both of your friends. Take time to think. I won't push it. What I mean by this is to just trust your husband. He's incredibly loyal to you, but he's a social, helpful person who gets along with women as his friends, and you need to accept that and trust that there's no ill intentions, and he's genuinely just building friendships. She literally sent this in a space of 6 minutes. Me. And then OP said, sure, I'll put myself in your shoes. Visiting a man only when his wife isn't home, constantly asking him for help with menial things around the house. I reached out to bury the hatchet, and then you spit out about I mustn't let my insecurities get in the way of someone's blatant, disrespectful actions. LOL. And again, I don't care he's friends with, whether it's a penis or a vagina. I'm not jealous by nature, as he's had dinner with exes, we've had threesomes, and we constantly comment on women that we see in public. But when something makes me uncomfortable and I ask that the visits stop while I'm away, then I'm insecure. Thanks. Then Beth said, no, that's not what I'm saying. I was trying to get you to understand that you have a loving and loyal husband and need to allow him to be friends with others. I did explain to you from my side why I did visit when you weren't there and still did say I will respect your boundaries moving forward, but would really like to maintain our friendship. Then OP said, he can be friends with whoever the F he wants to. I didn't tell him to cut you off. I only asked that you not visit when I'm not here. That's it. If he ended the friendship, that was him. Your blatant disrespect now honestly killed any chances. I said to you that it's not a good idea now while we work on things, and you decided that your effing opinion mattered. If I made a mistake, I would never put the blame on the other woman. Blaming her insecurities and saying she must let her husband be friends with other women, shame on you. And then Beth said, I will give you time, with a kissy face emoji. And then OP said, there's nothing to think about. You showed exactly who you are. Your narcissistic need for attention led you to overstep. Whatever place you imagine you had in Carl's life doesn't exist. He even sees how disrespectful and unacceptable your behavior was. All of us have lost every ounce of respect for you. Enjoy the life you've made for yourself. I then blocked her. My husband was appalled by her behavior and said that it's completely unacceptable. He did not text her to say that, but he did decide that cutting her off was the only option. He promised he would tell me if she texted him, and he hasn't said anything, so I'm trusting him. She's moved out of the estate and is no longer a part of our lives. I wish I could have given her a proper send-off, a glitter bomb, or a raw fish down her car vents, but I was too preoccupied with work and my baby. We're doing much better, and he sees how much his actions have hurt me. He's making more of an effort to make me feel better and happy and secure in our marriage. Thanks for reading. Oh my God. First thing I have to address is her saying that she's just more gravitated towards men, because let me tell you, I've been the girl that said that, okay, don't judge me. Don't judge me. I was young and I don't know what I was saying. And you could never catch me dead saying that now. But it was such a lie. Like, what do you mean you gravitate more? What? I mean, I do have a guy best friend I've been friends with for so long, but like, no. I don't know why I said that. I was just being so stupid and like probably 13 years old. Like, what do you mean you gravitate towards men? Goodbye. Anyways, I find that so annoying. Don't say that, girl. Please don't say that. And second of all, OP, I just have to say, don't ever give, like, this much to someone that, like, she genuinely said way too much to him or to her, because she was giving her so much, saying all of her insecurities to this girl that clearly is not her friend. Like, this girl is not her friend, saying how she has a lot of resentment because he was giving her the attention that he wasn't giving me, and that she has a lot of unresolved trauma, and that Carl was always defending you and it left a bad taste in my mouth, and blah, 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 all of that stuff. Like, that was way too much. You shouldn't have said that to her, because she's not a girl's girl at all. She's clearly not a girl's girl. And then that's why this girl felt the need to, like, butt her opinion in and say all this stupid shit, saying, I think that you should let your husband be friends with whoever he wants, and you need to trust your husband. Like, stop trying to give me advice. And then she kept saying so much stuff like, I don't have insecurities. We've had threesomes. We've done this. We've done that. And it's like, girl, you're saying too much at this point. Just, I mean, go off. Like, say what you want, obviously. But genuinely, I feel like you were just giving her so much, and she was feeding off of it. She was eating that shit up like heavy. Bye, Beth. We won't miss you. See you never. Oh my God, the top comments. Why are you telling this potential homewrecker all of your personal information? Stop texting her. You're just giving her the upper hand here. Spilling the beans on every facet of your relationship with your husband. Stop. I don't think this is the end of it. He's telling you what you want to hear. She's telling you things about your husband as if you don't know him. He'll be loving it. This is going one way, and I hope you see it and take control before they manipulate you further. Also, I literally just started my period. Too much information? Maybe. But my stomach, I'm having cramps and I feel it. Update number 2. Same post, 12 hours later. I read through all the comments and did some thinking. I realized that I stuck my whole damn leg in my mouth. But I was so caught up in the heat of the moments, I guess it was a mix of me being on new medication, anger that my husband would not just tell her to F off, and me trying to set the picture of me not being anything close to jealous. I realized my mistake, and it is what it is. To those saying this is fake, I don't really care. That's why I posted on a venting sub. Even though things are going better now and we are in therapy, I still hold resentment because he outright refused to block her while she lived in the estate, saying, what if there's an emergency? I can't block a tenant. And he refused to call her out on her behavior because he doesn't want drama. I respect his decision, but it still hurts. We've been together for nearly 10 years, and I tell him that sometimes I feel that he cares about other people's emotions more than mine. I pretty much am just keeping a low profile now, spending time with my son and trying to focus on the happiness that I do have. Whatever decisions he makes now going forward, I will address it when it happens. I was not in a good mental space when this whole thing happened, and I'm growing as a person and learning to control my emotions. Also, to control what I just blurt out when I'm upset. Thank you for everyone's input. It's not healthy for me to keep dwelling on this. I'm moving on now, whether my husband wants to move on with me or keep to his old ways. I'll cross that bridge when I get here, and I have a plan for if things do go sideways. Sorry, is he like, what? Wait, he works there? He works for the HOA? He's a chairperson of the HOA. Okay, but what does that entail? I guess that makes sense that you don't want to block a tenant. I mean, she doesn't live there anymore, so has he blocked her now? Because that would definitely say a lot if he blocks her now. And I don't know, like, the behavior that she wanted him to call her out on. He could have definitely done that in, like, a mature way to show that he was on his wife's side. I don't know. This whole thing really rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't appreciate this man. I don't appreciate it. He wasn't giving enough. He's not, like, fighting for her enough. And I understand how annoying that would be. But also, I agree. You definitely stuck your leg in your mouth a little bit. And I think you were a little bit jealous. And it's okay to admit that you're jealous. And it's also okay to be jealous. Like, everyone gets jealous. Everyone feels emotions. Like, people that, like, use that as, like, a diss, like, you're so jealous. Obviously, if that's, like, a toxic trait that you often have and you like harbor or you let it play out with bad actions and like toxic actions, that's something that's not okay. But everyone feels jealous at times. Everyone feels insecure at times. Like, that's why I hate when people are like, that's like, sounds really insecure. Like, okay, and what if I am a little insecure? Is that not a normal human emotion to feel? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel insecure sometimes. So why are we using that as like an insult? Like, I don't want to feel insecure, but that doesn't mean that sometimes I don't. And everyone feels insecure at times. There's nothing wrong with that. Your feelings are valid, okay? I don't know. I hate the feeling like when you're in a relationship with someone and you feel like you're pulling on, or I don't even know how to express this, like talking to a brick wall and you feel you're not getting anywhere with your partner. I'm not getting with one of my exes. I would, oh my God, I would drive myself actually crazy sometimes because I would be trying to get him to understand where I was coming from with certain situations, and the anger that I would feel because he would be like not not trying to understand. I don't even know how to explain it. Not trying to understand at all. And I just felt like we were going in circles and circles and circles and we could never get on the same page. And like, this is why we definitely shouldn't have been together, because this was like weekly, maybe even sometimes daily occurring thing I was so frustrated all the time. I nearly wanted to punch myself in the own face sometimes because I would be so frustrated. Like, I cannot believe that I am having to explain this. When it's something so simple, like obviously that would make me feel this way, and I can't believe that you're not getting why that would make me feel this way. And they are just like, well, that's not what I meant to do. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. That's not the way that I meant it, or something. I don't even know what like example to give you because this was so long ago. I just remember, and sometimes I'll have dreams that I am going through that with my boyfriend now, and I get so frustrated, and it brings me back to those days where I just would be so frustrated. I literally would want to pull my own hair out. Okay. The top comment says, we've had threesomes. Oh, for fuck's sake. Don't effing say that. Right. That's what I was thinking too. Like, don't tell her that you've had threesomes. You're telling the op. Like, this is your op. And you're saying, we've had threesomes. We've done this. We've done that. Don't. And then someone responded that said, my exact thought reading that. Pretty wild considering she saw Beth's intentions right away, yet didn't see how dumb of a move that part was. I feel like she was just trying to show her, I'm obviously not insecure. I'm obviously not jealous. We've done this together. So there's no way I could possibly be jealous or insecure. But it just wasn't giving what she thought it was giving. And then someone responded to that and said, look, I get the impulse. She's trying to tell the other woman, look, this isn't because in some sort of prude clutching my pearls. I'm some sort of prude clutching my pearls. We're sexually adventurous and even welcome others when it's mutually agreed upon and everyone's respecting boundaries. You haven't respected any boundaries, and it isn't just me being stuck up. There's something off here. I know that's what she was trying to say, and I totally get it. She shouldn't have told that other woman all of that, though. Exactly. And there's absolutely no reason. That's just giving her like so much ammo. She was eating that up, like genuinely. Someone said, wild, not even just that comment, although it's obviously the worst, the way she went into bizarre detail to prove herself when she really just needed to say, no, I would prefer not to, and then repeat, I would prefer not to, until it sticks. I've never needed to say it more than twice. This person said, OP is definitely insecure. Not condoning Beth's actions at all, by the way, but a husband who eats at his desk all the time isn't a good husband, and no amount of threesomes will fix that. But like, hey, it's also okay. That's just like another thing that I just said, like, I don't even know, 5 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. It's okay that she, like, I don't feel like that was her fault for being insecure, in my opinion. I feel like sometimes, yes, sometimes are there things that you feel insecure about that are more of like a reflection or a deflection, I don't know, more of something that you need to look inside about, and you're like, okay, this is a me thing and not a you thing. Yes, of course. And that's also okay. But that's something that's like, that requires self-awareness and something that you need to look inward and work through. But like, we're not perfect human beings. Things like that are going to happen, and you just work through it and hopefully learn from it. But there are also ways that it's also your partner that is making you feel insecure. And this is one way to make your partner feel insecure, to keep doing things when your partner talks to you about how it's making them uncomfortable, and to not set boundaries or show in any way, like, you're eating dinner with this woman, things that you won't do with me, you're doing with this woman. I think that you're very valid to feel insecure about that. And that's not your fault. That is your husband's fault. That's your husband's fault for being insecure. Someone responded to that and said, OP just created and had a whole human come out of her. So I think we can give her some grace for feeling insecure. The husband is the real problem. He should be completely focused on his family right now, not making new friends. T. So real. I agree with that. I agree with that. Also, what is an estate? I thought an estate was like a state. Where is this located? Because an estate sounds like you are living in like a castle with other castles or something. Am I dumb? I don't know. I would say it's like a neighborhood, but maybe this is in a different country? Or am I just so stupid and people call that like estates? I've never heard it called that before, but it sounds like you're living in the life of luxuries. It sounds like you're living as like a king or a queen. Hopefully I can live in an estate one day. Oh my god, wait, sorry. That's the end of the stories, by the way, but I forgot to tell you guys I'm going to New Orleans. Actually, I think I already have told you that, but I'm going this Sunday. So I'm really excited. It's going to be kind of cold when we get there, but I'm really excited. We've been traveling more recently, so we're going to New Orleans, and then like a week after we're going to New Jersey to visit some of Jack's family. And I'm excited. Hopefully also, if you guys can recommend me some like affordable, I guess you guys wouldn't know because it depends where you're flying out of, but I really want to go to another country. Me and Jack are wanting to go on a vacation in another country soon, and I've been thinking, well, first of all, I was just watching this YouTube video, and this guy just happened to go to Greece, and I was like, okay, maybe we'll go to like Mykonos or something. I don't know. Is that weird? And then I was looking, and the flights like really aren't that bad, like $800 round trip. And the hotels are so cheap. It's actually crazy. So that made me even want to go even more, because I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It was like $70. Like it's not like just one hotel. All of them were super cheap. And then another place I was thinking, I really want to go to Scotland. So I know some of you live in Scotland, okay? And I was thinking Edinburgh, because I just have been seeing stuff on my TikTok about it and how pretty it is. So yeah, let me know what you recommend. I love like historic architecture, so that's something to consider. And I also love nature, and I love like greenery nature. I love like forest nature, like cottage vibes, old storybook vibes, Narnia vibes. Like if I could be the beavers from Narnia that live like in that cute little house, I would be. So recommendations are welcome. And I'm going to go film a Patreon episode. And I love you guys so much. Let me know what you thought about the stories that we talked about today. And I love you to the moon and back. So talk to you in the next episode. Also to remind you that the donation link will be in the description. And goodbye. Bye. Love you. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.